All right, welcome to part 2 of my video where we're going to actually run some RC drift cars on my makeshift drift track. So, I don't have access to a professional P-tile, asphalt, concrete, whatever drift track. So, basically, we set up a track in my basement here. Usually a bunch of my buddies will come over on like a Saturday night. We get pizza and some beverages, and this is what we do. So, basically, it's a big figure eight. We're gonna go out around this way, back around the pole. There's a track dot on the floor, and then back out. So it can be run forward or reverse. You can run it as like a kidney bean, but this is what we do because we don't have access to that super nice track. And I feel like this is like the grassroots version of RC drifting. So this is what I'm gonna run. I'm gonna set up the camera. Let's play with some cars. All right, so we got the car out. I'm gonna set up the video camera. So just better look at the track. So basically, figure eight, out and around, come back, and that's it. We have some zones. So there's a couple different colors. This is an outside zone, inside zone, and then basically this would be, I guess, an outside zone, and this is if you're going the other direction. So it's usually coming around backwards. You have outside, inside, and then usually like an inside clip if we're going that way. So let me get the camera set up. Obviously, this is plywood. This is a kind of a strange surface to be driving on. It's kind of grippy. It feels similar to concrete, roughly, as far as traction level. Again, this is where I live. This is my house. This isn't a professional track. We're having fun. That's what this is about. All right, so basically that entire little filming session, I have this set in TSM mode with the knob at 0, which I believe is 50%. I can look at the app and find out for sure, but it should be about 50%. TSM mode runs great. It's pretty good. The tires definitely feel like MST Gold Dots, which is what this car is running. So this is an MST RMX. This is your like ready to run version. Completely bone stock, unmodified, with the exception of Velcro body mounts. So I'm going to throw unmodified beside Velcro. So I'm going to throw a battery in this, and we're going to run this and get a couple shots so you can kind of maybe compare speed and whatnot. And we'll see how I do with this one versus that one, and I'll give you some feedback. All right, so that was the RMX. I ran the 4-Tec. So now the last experiment I want to do is running the MST tires. These are the gold dots that come when you buy one of these. I want to stick it on that car. So I want to find out if the brake caliper is clear, which I don't think they will, because they're a little bit different design. We're going to see in a second, and see how that one performs. This car, definitely much faster. The gyro sensitivity on this is set a little bit high. This is a borrowed car. I'm not going to change it. I'm going to hand it back to my buddy the same way I got it. For whatever reason, it's the way he likes it, or whatever. It's fine. This, I can definitely like run into zones way harder because it is brushless and it's faster. And the extra steering angle does definitely help when you want to like hammer in real hard. So this is more the way I prefer a car setup, where it's very snappy and very quick. Handing these cars off to friends, I have a lot of friends that do struggle because the car is too snappy. Maybe this is going to help them. I need to definitely do a follow-up video where I grab some friends who have no idea how to drift RC cars and see if I can get them to learn either one of these. But just stock for stock, softer tires, bone stock vehicle. Yeah, the MST is set up to be a drift car. It is the drift car. This is half a drift car. It is better. It is $80 more, plus the battery and charger, plus you need the body mounts. And the stock gyro, okay. I prefer putting a Yokomo V4, something better in it. Where the gyro in this works fantastic, I feel. It's really easy to set, and it's very smooth. So I really like the gyro with the TSM and the stock controller in this. So entry-level wise, in my opinion, $329. This would be $400 plus an $80 gyro and like $10 for the body mounts. It depends on how much money you have to spend. If you don't have the extra money, yeah, this actually drifts great. But I prefer this, of course, because it's MST. It's a company that makes drift cars, period. So I do like this better. Yes, I do. But it's pretty cool. It's magic. It has new wheels on it. So surprisingly, MST wheels clear the brake calipers. I kind of thought they might hit, but they definitely fit. So that's kind of cool. And I did notice that the original tires are bigger than the MST wheels. I didn't really realize by how much. It's quite significant. So whilst there's plenty of ground clearance and the chassis is not going to drag per se, definitely a difference in wheel size. So more wheel speed with these, of course, because they're larger diameter. But let's see how it works. Woo! That is snappy. All right, so very gripped up, very snappy. Almost way too much grip with the MST gold dots on here. So comparing these three setups, the factory setup versus this factory setup versus this with the gold dots, this chassis is definitely heavier. I didn't weigh it, but it's got to be. So way more traction with this, a lot of forward momentum. The smaller tires actually look a little goofy on here, but whatever. So actually, side note, if you're going to buy this body for a non-Traxxas vehicle, this is what your wheels are going to look like. Whoop. Sorry, I want a selfie stick, so I got to bend it out of the way. So the wheel wells on the body are big for big wheels. So that might be a turn off for some of you guys who just want the body. All right, yeah. So super, super gripped up with the gold dots on it. Snappy, I like it. I could get used to it, but it's a little much. I'm sure I could probably dial some grip out of it. It's not super adjustable, so dialing rear toe and that kind of stuff is not feasible at this moment. But would like to dial grip out if I'm going to use these tires. So if you were to run the gold dyes, like your spec tire, for instance, it's just convenient because what I have. You'd have a little bit of a hard time tandeming together. This car is definitely smoother and I think easier to drive with the faster setup on it. Well, not think it definitely is. It's way easier to drive with the faster, softer tires on it. This car versus this car with the factory tires on it, they're kind of close. This is a little snappier, a little easier to drive. It is brushless. It's more what I'm used to. The extra steering angle is definitely helpful. So I kind of prefer driving this car stock for stock. This car is really interesting with these tires on it, though. It is fast. It is really a challenge to drive. I can play with the gyro more and do some stuff. This is intriguing me. So between the two, this car costs more. Obviously, this is $80 more for the base chassis. This one has the stealth body mounts on it, which are like $10 or something like that. This has the factory gyro, which works fine. I'd prefer the Yokomo gyro on this. The 7 million gyro settings you can do with this is pretty cool. The drift button I did not use at all. Well, at least not that you saw, because every time I use the drift button, I spun out. I can't use this. And it's not that it's a problem or it's bad. It's just not what we're used to. So coming from someone who's green, that might be a great tool for them as something different. I don't need it. It doesn't need to be there. But yeah, and it's cool that it's got the Bluetooth. You can set all the stuff on the radio, just like a much more expensive controller. The controller on this car is not great in comparison. This is your MST controller. It works. It's fine. It does what it needs to do. It's not crazy adjustable. It's not crazy anything. It's 2.4, obviously, like everything is. And that's all right. It does the job. But, I'm not going to put this on my fancy carbon fiber chassis. Not that I'm going to do that with this either, but definitely an improved radio over the MST. I kind of would be interested to see if I switched electronics between the two cars, where it'd be at. But I don't have time for that right now. So, pretty cool. If, I would much rather run my RMX 2.5 KMW, not 2.5, 2.0 KMW. It's a $1,500 car. These are $300, $400 cars. So, super expensive chassis is, of course, going to be far superior. But as an entry level, they're both pretty good. From the standpoint of having a hobby shop, I've sold a bunch of these. The Mustang here, actually, broke out of the box the steering knuckle. So I put one of the aluminum steering knuckles on it. I still have to do the other side. But we opened it, and it was broken. The Traxxas one you could probably drop from a blimp, and it's not going to break. This thing you could smash against parking blocks all day long and won't give. This, I've had a couple steering knuckles broken. These upper links, there's a screw, I guess, that goes to the back side of this. Or maybe a threaded rod. I forget this one set up. But I've had a bunch of these that are just bent. So the upper link bends all the time. I've had that happen in a bunch of cars. I've also had a customer put on rubber tires on this for whatever reason and blew the hell out of the transmission. I was not designed for that. The Traxxas one, yeah, put rubber tires on it. Who cares? Go jump it and put rubber tires on it. It's fine. It'll take it. So you're trading a little bit of the durability and being able to hand this off to a 12-year-old for a little bit of performance. But it's not bad. It drifts fine. I'm going to probably spend a few more hours driving this and see how good I can make it, because I'm going to start tweaking the suspension and see what I can do with the rest of the gyro settings. But yeah, I mean, if you had your pick, would I pick this one or that one? You know, if they were the exact same price, I'd probably go with the RMX. I'm also more used to the RMX. You know, parts availability, the cost of parts is a lot more on this than this. The person who's going to buy this is the guy who goes down to the local hobby shop, who has a kid, who wants to have fun with them. And I really think that this chassis drifts well enough and handles well enough that this could absolutely be a really good stepping stone to get to the next level. You know, maybe the next level is an RMX. Maybe the next level is whatever, Overdose RC, whatever it's going to be. So overall, pretty excited about it. I'm going to drive it some more. I'm going to have some fun with it. I think overall, there's been a lot of people who say, like, this is terrible for the community and the world's going to, you know, burn from this. I mean, I don't see it. It's going to be, of course, better to spend $1,000 on one of these RC cars and get, you know, crazy whatever. But for a starting point, I'm pretty impressed. So, one more thing. So, obviously, the MST or whatever, any other car basically, has a lot more steering angle than the 4-Tec. Comparing this to having been drifting in real life for so long, this is like a wise fab kit. In real drifting, I can't throw the car into a corner as hard as you can throw one of these in. I'm going to spin out. I have an S13 with some knuckles. You know, it's a full caged car or whatever else, but it's fairly basic on the steering angle setup. It's actually more like this in real life. And driving this car compared to my real car kind of feels almost, I wouldn't say more natural, but maybe more natural. It's more realistic to what like my actual real car is like. So I can't throw backies or do crazy stuff with it. But if you're going for scale realism, is that really necessarily scale realism? Unless you're, you know, James Dean? I don't know, just food for thought. All right, now that I'm wrapping up the edit on this video, I appreciate you guys watching. I hope perhaps I shed some light on these two ready-to-run chassis. Maybe I help you make a choice. I feel like either one is a good choice for entry level. It just depends on where you're going to run it, how much durability you want, what your local hobby shop carries, whether you want to order parts online. So if you're going to be kind of beating it up and you're going to be in a random parking lot, you have a lot of good places to run it. 4-Tec is going to be way more durable long term. Parts availability is going to be available long term. It's going to be really easy to service. Where the MST, your local hobby shop might not carry parts. You might have to order stuff online. The car definitely performs better, but it depends on where your trade-off is and where you're going to run it. So I hope that maybe getting to see these cars run, hopefully that helps somebody make a choice on which car is best suited for them. But I don't think either way, you can't go wrong. I think you'll have fun. So thanks for watching this video. Hopefully I was helpful in some way, shape, or form. And this is the part where you say like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. So if you want to do that, that's cool. It supports the channel or whatever. I'm not doing this for money. I'm just having some fun. So take care, guys, and keep on drifting.